Good morning. This is lesson 97 on transversals. So many definitions. Oh my gosh, so many definitions. It's not hard, but there's a lot to remember. So um, let's take a look here. And I've got a sheet that I printed out. So I've got two parallel lines. Now, they don't have to be parallel, but in this case they are. And then they drew a line across, so it crossed both of my sets of parallel lines. That crossing line is called a transversal because it transverses the two lines. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. In this case, we're just going to be dealing with the parallel lines and the angles that those lines form, those three lines. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 angles that those three lines all together form. So there's some neat things that those 8 angles have in common. Remember I said definitions? So the interior angles are the ones inside this box. So you think of your line here and your bottom line and your top line. In between that is, think of it as the box. That's the interior. So the interior angles are 3 and 4, 5 and 6, right? And I don't know why they number them this way. I'd never get the numbering system right. You start in the top left and go around clockwise. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, so interior, inside, between the top and the bottom line. Don't count the transversal, just count the parallel, or they don't have to be. Exteriors outside the box, so the ones that are not in between those two lines. So 1 and 2, 8, 7 and 8 are the exterior angles. Okay, so I've got my 8 angles. I've got interior angles and I've got exterior angles, right? Okay. Think about supplementary. Do you remember what that means? It means that the angles add up to 180 degrees. So I don't have a protractor here at home. I don't know exactly what angle this is, but I know when I add it to this one that I get a straight line. So angle 1 plus angle 2 is 180 degrees. So those angles are supplementary. Okay. These two add up to a straight line. These two, right? What about those two? Those two do, these two. So anytime you can add two angles together, and when they have here and here and you get a straight line, supplementary angles, okay? Corresponding angles. Okay, this is something new, I think. So remember I've got my 8 angles, and I kind of have like a little home here and a little home here, maybe classroom. If I have a corresponding angle, it's in the same position in each home, right? So angle 1 is up here in the top left in this house or this home. Angle 5 is in the same position in the second house. So these are corresponding angles. So what are some more corresponding angles? 4 and 8, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, right? So does it make sense that you think of where they are in this house, and then you think of where they are in this house, and they correspond to the same position, and that's why they call it that. Okay, the next one is, so we know our interiors and our exteriors. So alternate interior angles. So, alternate interior. So I know in this case, they're going to be in the pink because they're interior. This one is an acute angle, right? So they're asking for angles that have the same measurement, but in the other set. So this one's an acute angle, this one's an acute angle, right? So if I had a protractor, which I do not, I could see that they measured the same. So those would be alternate interior angles. So 3 and 5 are the same angle measurement. So they're both acute and they're both in the interior. All right, so since I didn't have a protractor, you see I've kind of got the same setup here. Okay, so let's take, let's do exterior ones because they're easier to do. I'm going to take all these off. And if you notice, I've got my angle 1 up here, and I've got my angle 7 down here. It's exactly the same. So 1 and 7 are the same, right? Got my 8 here, and where's my 2? There's my 2. So if I could take them, and 2 and 8 are the same, right? Pretty cool stuff. So alternate means it could fill in 4, could be the same, it's just in a different spot. Kind of like an understudy angle if you're a theater person. Alternate exterior angles, again, 1 and 7 are the same measurement, 2 and 8 are the same measurement. So those are alternate exterior angles. Okay, so again, you just have to make yourself a list. Do some vocab words on this one. I think it'll be really helpful to you. I wanted to show you something that's kind of cool. I have some drawing angles. I love my triangles. So this is why this works. So I've drawn myself a line. I want to make a parallel line. I'm just going to slide my triangle down a little bit. Okay. So now I have parallel lines. And I know they're parallel because they're parallel relative to this flat straight edge, right? So there and there. Okay, now I'm going to make myself a transversal there. Okay. And I'm going to slide it over. So I know that that's the same and that's the same because they're parallel. I could do the same thing here. I can make all kinds of angles. So look at that. I know that's the same angle and that's the same angle. So transversals are pretty cool when you're dealing with parallel lines. It's a really neato way to think about angles. Use this a lot in architecture, in building, in design. So transversals and parallel lines are really cool. Okay, so let's review real fast. Interior, inside the box in the pink, between the 2 lines. Exterior, outside the lines. Supplementary adds up to 180 degrees. Alternate means it's in the same angle measurement. So 1 and 7 are alternate exterior angles. 4 and 6 are alternate interior angles. Corresponding angles are the ones that are in the different houses, but they're in the same position. 2 and 6 are corresponding angles. You might really want to keep yourself a list of all these definitions, or really examples might be better. So if you made yourself like a list of corresponding, hopefully you'll do it neater than I do. 2 and 6. Alternate interior angles would be 3 and 5, right? Alternate exterior angles, so you would do that. So 1 and 7. I think that'll help you with the examples, maybe even more than the definitions. So if you could just write yourself what they are and then give yourself an example, I think that'll be good. So good luck on this. Let me make sure that the lesson practice set Yeah, I think you'll be okay as long as you get your definitions down. So good luck.